Okay, so you're looking at a photo of that combi that I've bought. You can see the corrugated iron up the top. It was leaking acid. This is a mango tree, so all of these leaves are acidic. And it was going along. You can see all along here. Acid was leaking down all along here. There, it's just rotted out the whole length of the car. So that was how I first saw it. It hadn't been moved for 50 years. There's a shed just here, or a barn, whatever you want to call it, and they put a rudimentary roof leaning from the roof of the shed onto this one, and they had some wood piled on the side, but you can imagine the humidity there. This was a mangrove area, so this is very acidic soil, very salty, and anything that touched it was just rusty. There's another photo from the side view. So it's got the 3 windows. Interestingly, you can only just see it there. There's some little vents that were on top of it. They're oblong in shape. They weren't round. One either side. There's the semaphores. So obviously this is a very early vehicle. You can just see inside, but this is piled up probably 2 feet high or more and in level with the van. There's another photo. You can see it's all rusted away. That's how bad it was. When I originally went there to buy it, I saw this photo from the person that was selling it and thought, oh okay, so I've got to weld a buttress across, another one across, and then I'll bring something up here and then across to the roof, and then triangulate it across here, and that'll stabilise it for the journey back. On a tow truck it was going to go about 120 kilometres, so quite a long distance. And I thought I'll just do that, and it just turned out that it was just way too far gone for me to get it back, so I had to say no. And as luck would have it, the person that ended up taking this vehicle cut it up with an angle grinder and then got it home, and then realised it was way too big a job for them, so they put it back on sale, and that's when I saw it, and then I went and got it. And I gave him some extra money to deliver it to my house, and it all fit into a trailer, which was quite sweet. So it saved me dismantling it. He reckons he put about 12 hours into getting this thing apart, and I can see that easily. I mean, it would have taken me a lot longer than that, but that's okay. So you can see the vents. There's 3 vents, and there's the vents there, fuel cap. Square along the back wheel, it's not curved, straight across. The dog legs, unfortunately somewhere along the line they got cut up and then they disappeared, so I don't have them at all. These window frames are fairly bad, but without trying to get the glass out, I'm going to dip them in a tank and just use electrolysis to try and get rid of all of the rust, and then paint the frame, and then hopefully I can still use it as is. This glass is broken but the other one isn't, so to keep it as it is, because otherwise all I will be saving if I try to pull this apart is you're not going to get the frame. This is a better photo. So the frame has a little bit of rust in it, but if I hit it with electrolysis I can take all the oxidization out, and then paint the frame. So if I was going to try and restore this frame properly, it would just collapse as soon as I tried to take it away from the glass. Then I'd have to buy a new seal, then I'd have to buy a new frame, and 9 times out of 10 I would say this would crack. This glass has been in that frame for so long that glass is a fluid, it's not hard like steel. It will actually move over time, so I'm just going to leave that like that. So I pulled some schematics and drawings from the net. They're pretty good. Gives you an alright idea of how it all fits. There's another one there. This is a panel bag. This is just someone else on the net that's done it. They would have been in the same sort of position I'm in. That's got the tubular cradle as well. So this vehicle has the tubular cradle. It's very early. And it looks like he was taking photos from someone else as well. And that's just someone else. There's some, this is a German, I think it's an original. It's got measurements for different types of vehicle. I'll be mainly concerned with this one here. But it's all in German, but I don't think that'd be too hard to worry about. I've managed to get these from the net. These are, you know, the dimensions of the floor plate. So essentially from this point, and a lot of this at the back has gone as well, but say from this point all the way forward up to essentially here is just not there. So all of this has to be built. And it's really good this because it's got the triangulated geometries. So this is on another plane than this. You can see there's a step up, so this level here is not the same level as here. So it's quite complex. It gives you the triangulations from bolt points. So you can see the bolt point there to, you know, top center of that torsion bar. You know, all of them. This is an older cradle mount. It's not the rounded one, but I don't think that is an issue as yet. I can't seem to find any difference in the width of these, but I'm mainly concerned about the distance from so this length here, C, goes from that center of that bolt hole to the center of that top bolt hole, and I do have those 2 points, so that will give me that length. I will be able to get that correct to a millimeter, and that's very important apparently for clutch cables and all that sort of gear. So I've got everything I need, all of these dimensions as well, and then once I get to that point, I'll obviously have this set up on a jig, so I'll have some mounts from the floor at 4 points at the back. This section I've got, and this section I've got, and I'll bolt both axles up into it to keep it square, and then I'll use my laser level and I'll come from the front and I'll pick up 2 points and I'll get it exactly level, and then I'll carry it through and whatever difference in height that is from that, whether they be the same height, I doubt it, but it doesn't really matter. I can just work it out. All I need to know is if that's level, and then compare this height to that height once I've worked out where they are in relation to each other on the drawing, and then set it up on the floor permanently in the garage, and then start building my points between. This is obviously straight from here, and it comes out on an angle at that point there. So once I've built this plate and it's square, as I said, I've got a laser level so I can get every single corner point. I'll probably come up from here and here, here and here to a certain imaginary line. They call it a datum point. Normally it's at the firewall of a car, so I'm just going to make imaginary datum points, and I'll set up at probably where these ones are. So this will be a datum point, that screw hole will be a datum point, that'll be a datum point, and over here as well. Whether or not I can see them with a laser, I don't know. I can either come out with a rod or go up with a rod at a certain measurement and then work out, a bit like what a surveyor would do. I haven't got a jig, so this will all be done on the floor, concrete floor. So once I've done that, that's a lot of work there. Then I can start to, this is another drawing I've got. So this is where you start to work out your dimensions inside the vehicle. So from certain points, say here, you can get your square for your door frame. Also from here to here, so you can, this is how you make sure your doors are square. If this length is different to this length, then you know you're not square, you're skewed. And then there's also a rake inwards, but it's quite good because it's got every measurement of every window. So before I even put the doors on, if I know that these are correct and I know the doors are going to fit, because this is how they did the vehicles in the factory. And then from this point, it's got a triangular dimension from inside the door pillar all the way to the front member here where the seam is, it looks like. And then also, it might even be the hinge bolt point. I haven't looked, no, it's too low for that. But so from there all the way to there, there to there, so your cabin is square as you're laying your panels on. Outside diameters, dimensions, sill plate, bottom of sill plate to over here, door length this way. It's pretty much got everything you need. I don't have a roof, so what I'm going to do there, I don't know. The guy that bought this vehicle sold the roof to someone else before I got there the same morning. I was not happy about that, but that's just how it is. But considering how bad that is, and if you work out the length of welding that you'd need to do to join these two together, you'd have to make a piece that went all the way around. I mean, you're looking at, I think it's roughly 2 meters. I'm just guessing here, I haven't got the exact measurement on me, but it's 2 meters by two pieces. So if you're welding that piece along, and then at the same on the other side, that's 8 meters of weld plus another probably 3 and then 3. So you're looking at it's 14 meters of weld over a very thin sheet of metal. There is no way you're going to get that nice and exact and looking nice without having a lot of warp and work. Like, that is a lot of work. And at the end of it, I think that it'll be quite rough, considering this piece of steel is, you know, we're talking 70 years old, and for 50 of those years it's had acid dripping on it. It's probably pitted right throughout, very deep. There's probably acid embedded into that. The porosity of the steel would be open, so there'd be acid all through it. I'd have to, you know, if I didn't do it smart, I'd have to actually neutralize that acid, bring it back down to bare metal. That's probably 5 hours work. Then cleaning it, there's another 2 or 3, and then cutting, you're looking at probably 3 there. That's, you know, we're up to 10. We haven't even worked out how wide our pieces are. For me, I think it would be easier to make the roof from scratch with a brand new piece of steel. And I've bought sheets of metal, brand new. And what I would do, just by guessing, is either run along the front nose here, that is one piece, and I've got an English wheel and a shrinker and stretcher. So probably mark out this geometry on the floor in the garage, as if you can imagine, you know, draw that out on the floor and then start assembling pieces. So the outside diameter of this curved, we'll call it a half moon. It might be easier for me to make a quick rib cage up as well on the floor. So that piece, and then join it from the center point of the nose up and down to the back, and then join it all up, and then stick that on the floor, and then start bringing my skins over it like a buck. I'd say the center part is quite flat. There'd only be a slight dome here, but I quite like the Samba buses. They have those windows on the roof. So this one here has 3 windows, 4. So you know, I could start from this point right here, build forward. Then if you imagine this point to here is really only this wide with some cutouts, and that'd have a curve like this. And before I go any further, I've got all of these dimensions as well. So these are the curvature of the roof itself. So it's all measured out. Yeah, it's in inches, but that's not hard to work out. So this is an exact copy of the gauge of the roof, and I've got a few others as well. They're right here, so that's the same one. So I've got all of these. They give you so there you go. That's the tailgate though. The engine compartment contours, you know, roof contours. So I've got that stuff to build the roof, and what I think I'll do is build it in sections. So I'll do the front, and if I decide to put the windows up the top, I'll make the roof in 3 parts, and then there's also a soft top as well. I don't know, I'll probably just end up making a single panel that rolls over and then join it, and then do the same at the back. So that's the roof done, and it'll be brand new. It won't be roughed together like this. Like, if you think about it, and anyone who's done this sort of stuff who's not a professional will know that to get that exact, to make it look nice, if you're going to invest that much time, effort, electricity, welding wire, sandpaper, bog, like you're talking, to get that roof good, you're probably looking at $150 worth of bog, you know, putty. That's a lot. I mean, I can buy the sheet of metal for half that price. So I've got the equipment, it's just a matter of time to do it. And then it'll be much better anyway, because it'll be brand new steel. So yeah, that's the roof. All of these edges are all rusted away, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do there yet. Whether I make a whole new skin for the front. They're nearly $1,000 each now, so that's nearly $1,000. Just to repair that alone is not that big a deal. I mean, I've obviously got to fix along the front, down the bottom. So all of the floor section and all of this is all gone. I've got up to the front bolt holes on the frame. It's all rusted away, so that has to be rebuilt. Essentially, these whole rigger here has to be rebuilt, including where the bolts are. So that's why I'm going to put the axle across, then build this frame, and then I can take the axle away and then start sandwiching in new steel, making the frame one at a time, and then put it back up and make sure the measurements are correct. That might be something I do once the vehicle is back together. Not too sure, but yeah, the frame will be brand new, the roof will be brand new. All of this engine compartment here, the floor, this cover, the inside floor, I have none of that stuff, so there's nothing in there. It's all going to be made. I went and got a new bead die for my bead roller. I'll just go and show you that. So that's for my bead roller. I got this panel, bit of a swap deal. I swapped with someone for something. In the profile is that profile, and it matches just right. See there, and then this one matches in there. So all of the floors will be I'll able to make them. I mean, I'm looking at, I quoted it was about $2,000 for the floors. So that was $100, and I should be able to do the whole floor. All of this section, all of the section in there, inside the engine compartment as well, and this will also do the beads for where the seat is, and all of these beads as well. You know, all of these beads that are inside the vehicle. That one will do that. And I've got a rubber wheel that it sits up against. It's not going to be exactly the same width, but it'll be fine. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I bought all of the steel that I think I'll need for the project, including the sheet metal. I think I'll probably have to buy the steel for the roof again, because originally I thought I was going to get this roof off the person, but didn't. So that's the price that I paid. $457, and that's 16 meters of rectangle stock. One of them's 2mm thick wall, one's 2.5mm thick wall, and then I got a square dowel, and that will be the frame. Let me see where it is. So all of the frame, all of the cross members, and these top hats as well, they'll be the gal. But I should be able to get the whole length of the vehicle and also make up the jigs for the floor plate itself for the assembly. All of the outer sills, all of the steel I need is that, so $450. If you add another 100, 150 for the roof as well, for the steel for that, that should pretty much cover the whole vehicle. But it's all raw and it's not cut up yet, so that's all part of the job. Anyway, I'm off.